Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll be exploring about 2D arrays in Java. So let's get started. Let's open Visual Studio Code and let's create a new file. I'll name it as 2darrays.java. And then before we start coding, what are 2D arrays? In the previous video, we have already learned that we use arrays when we need to store multiple values of the same data type. Now what are 2D arrays? 2D arrays are used when we need to store a data in the form of rows and columns in two-dimensional way. So let's create a 2D array. So let's first write public static void main string arguments, and then let's open curly brackets, and then let's write int, and then I'll put two brackets. Now why are we putting two square brackets? Now, when we used to create arrays, we only put one square bracket. But here we put two square brackets because the first square bracket is for rows and the second one is for columns. Since this is a 2D array, it requires both formats. And then I'll name the array. So I'll name it as ARR. And then I'll put an equal to sign. And then I'll open a curly brackets. And then let's press enter. And inside these curly brackets, I'll put another curly bracket. Now this curly bracket is for rows. So I'll write the values in my first row and then I'll put a comma and then I'll open another curly bracket and then I'll store my second values and then I'll close it. So I have renamed the file. I renamed the file from 2darrays.java to arrays2d.java. So I have done this to remove the error which I got from the class. So now we have already created our array. Now let's learn how to print the value from the 2D array. So first of all, I'll write system.out.print or let me write println. And then here I want to print the first value. So the first value is located in 0, comma 0 because this is array. So the Java compiler starts the index range from 0. So since I want to print the first value, which is 1, I need to write 0 in the first square bracket and in the second square bracket 0. So I'll first write the name of the array, which is ARR. Then I'll write 0. Then I'll write 0 in another square bracket. And then I'll put a semicolon. Now if I save and run my code, as you can see, it prints 1. Now similarly, if I want to print another value, let me write 0 and the next one as 1. So it will print 2. As you can see, it has printed 2. Now in order to calculate the length of the array, there are two methods. The first method is to create a variable and store the length of the array and then print it. The second one is to directly print the length of the array. So first of all, we look at the second method. So let's system.out.print. Then I'll write length, then put separate and a space. Then I'll join it by putting a plus. Then I'll write ARR, which is my name of the array, dot length. Then I'll put semicolon, and if I run the code, as you can see, it prints the length as 2 because we have created two curly brackets. That's why it's printing the length as 2. Now let's look at this first method, which is to create another variable. So I'll create another variable. Let me name it as length with the data type int, and then I'll put equal to, and then I'll write arr.length. And now let me print the variable. So I'll write system.out.print length, then I'll join it by plus, then I'll write length. Now here I'll give print line. Now if I run my code, it prints length as 2 on using both methods. That means those both methods will also work on 2D arrays. So this is the end of this video. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and like, and thanks for watching.